On November 8th, 1994, Cinderella released their fourth album, Still Climbing, 4 years after Heartbreak Station. But 4 years is a lifetime in rock and roll, and by 94, the music scene was drowning in a sea of grunge. Still Climbing debuted at number 178 on the Billboard charts, only to disappear without a trace the following week. So is it worth it for you to give Still Climbing a spin in 2025? Patrick, Jones, Jeremy, Ryan, and I discuss that right after this.
The hair metal guru from Warren to Crew. The hair metal guru. Never forget Charlie too.
Welcome to the Hair Metal Guru. My name is Anthony. They call me the Guru. And yes, it's time to talk Cinderella again. Cinderella, one of the iconic bands of the hair metal genre. We're talking about 1994's Still Climbing. With that, it's time to meet our roundtable members. Right next to me, we got Ryan from the band Metalcast. Ryan, thanks for being back on the show.
All right, thanks, man. And Metalcast is in need of lead guitar. So if you out there want to be part of Metalcast history, please reach out on Instagram or X and let me know.
If you need anybody to play some good old penis bass, bump, 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 or maybe blow the jug, and if you need somebody to blow something else, you can talk to Jeremy about that kind of stuff. Yeah, just kidding. And right below Ryan, we have Jeremy, the drummer from the band Abrasion, my teacher brother from North Dakota. Jeremy, welcome back.
Hey, thank you. Be on the lookout for YouTube Abrasion website. We do have a remake or remaster of the Stone Cold Crazy track from our 1992, I'll call it a debut. It was what it was. We were teenagers. But anyway, that should be coming out real soon. So check that out on YouTube, and happy to be here talking Cinderella. Love Cinderella, one of the best bands of the genre, so can't wait to give them a spin.
All right, awesome. And Jones from the YouTube channel, Hanging with Drummer Boy Jones. Thanks for coming back on, man.
Hey, man. It's a pleasure, as always, to be here with you guys. I hope you guys are getting ready for a good holiday. I'm thankful for each and every one of you guys. Through your channel, Anthony, I've met some of my best friends that I've never met in person, but it's a blessing, and I hope everybody has a great holiday, and I can't wait to discuss this record.
That's right. As we record this, it is Wednesday, November 26th. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving Day. This video should be out on Friday the 28th. So after that long day of eating too much shit and probably sleeping too much, you can sit on your couch and watch us talk about Cinderella. And with that, it's time to meet Colonel Patrick, who is back for the attack. Thanks for coming on, man.
Best channel on YouTube and best group of guys to do videos with.
There you go. All right. So Cinderella puts out Heartbreak Station, and we're going to talk about our history with Cinderella. It comes out in 1990. Opinions are divided. I think we need to cover Heartbreak Station at some point. But Tom Kiefer has all these vocal issues. So 4 years is a fucking lifetime for this album to come out. There was all sorts of problems with it. By the time it comes out, I remember finding like one copy at my local media play store. I snapped it up, but there wasn't many people rushing out to buy the Cinderella album. So I think there's a lot of people wondering, maybe not even knowing this damn thing is out. So we're going to provide the excellent service that we provide by letting them know our thoughts on it. This is the next in the series of albums we've been covering. We did Motley Crue in 94, Poison, what's it called?
Crack a Smile.
Crack a Smile, Winger, Pull, Def Leppard, Adrenalize. No, we've gotten so far. What else? Skid Row, Skid Row, Slave to the Grind, and Slaughter, Fear No Evil. So now we're on Cinderella, Still Climbing. So we're going to start like this. You got to know about your history with Cinderella. Where were you with Cinderella before Still Climbing? Ryan, let us know.
Well, thank you. Cinderella, for me, huge fan of albums 1 and 2. Night Songs is a classic that I still crank often. I mean, for a kid in high school getting into them, of course I'm going to love a band who's got the line, She wants it all, and that's a lot. I mean, that's confidence and cockiness all in one epic song. And my top 5 Cinderella songs, Push Push. And then the last few years, kind of bagged on Long Cold Winter because I saw some of the blues influence rearing its ugly face. And I was a little turned off. But lately, I've been really enjoying it more than ever. And I eat my words that it was headed in the blues direction, because it's definitely a lot less hard rock metal than Night Songs, but it's a melodic rock, you know, it's still there. And like the song Long Cold Winter was a blues song, but that was intentional, and they weren't accidentally sliding in horns and chimes and bells and background vocals and stuff. You know, it was just a blues epic. And then Heartbreak Station. It was as indulgent as Stranger in This Town. And frankly, I wrote them off with anything past Long Cold Winter because of it. There's nothing appealing to me on Heartbreak. I've had people refer to certain songs that they thought were legit that might reintroduce me to the album, but I can't. It's just I can't get into it. I can't believe what they did in 1990. It's like they squandered a major stepping stone in their career. They just squandered the opportunity with this self-indulgence. So really, Cinderella has historically 1 and 2 albums, and then we'll talk about Still Climbing.
Okay, Jeremy, where were you at with Cinderella before Still Climbing?
Loved them when they came out. Saw Nobody's Fool at my aunt's house on Thanksgiving, actually, I think. Headbangers Ball way back when it came out. Went to the Minot State Fair, won the remember the old mirrors that you could buy with the balloon toss? Had that Night Songs mirror, one of the coolest covers of all time. Had the headband around the cowboy hat. I mean, I just love Cinderella. I thought they were so freaking cool and so cool looking. The songs were great. Tom Kiefer's voice was just ballsy enough to get you no matter what, and yet he could still be, you know, show that softer side and make it work. And then Long Cold Winter came out, and I remember rushing, literally getting down to Bismarck as quick as I could, that sucker. And I saw the cover, and it reminded me of a Hershey's bar for whatever that it's right behind me here that way. It reminded me of like a Hershey's candy bar, white chocolate. And I'm like, wow, that cover's awesome, you know. And I was so excited, and I got it, and I opened it up, and there's pictures of them in the snow. And I put the cassette in because I'm old, and I jammed it out, and it started with the Let's Go Boys. And it just, you know, it kicked from the second I put it in till the end. However, I didn't like it the more I listened to it. The more I listened to it, the more bluesy I thought it got. Kind of the opposite of Ryan. I thought it became more and more bluesy every time I listened to it, and I found myself claiming to like it just because all my friends loved it so much, my brother, and I'm like, yeah, I love Long Cold Winter. But deep down, I found myself kind of reeling in it a little bit. There were 4 or 5 tracks that were unbelievable, but to me, it was a lot of stuff that I could take or leave. In the title track, and Cinderella is always known for having their title track on their album, Long Cold Winter, I've never listened to that entire song. That's how much I despise and detest that 8-minute bioepic. I can't stand the song, and I was just shocked that they called it that. But whatever. I love the 2 albums. I love Long Cold Winter when it came out. Didn't so much as time went on. Heartbreak Station, I remember my friend giving me the tape right after she bought it. She said, "You can have it." I said, "What do you mean? You just got it?" She said, "You can have it. It's a country album." I said, "What?" She said, "It is literally a country album. Wait till you listen to it." And I said, come on. So I got home and I listened to it, and damn right it was. It had everything that a country album has, with the only difference being Tom Kiefer and his growly voice. Other than that, the country music that's coming out right now is 10 times harder and doesn't have all that stupid shit country musicianship in the background. So Heartbreak Station, and I just revisited it during this. It hasn't aged at all. It's still garbage. It will probably never be played by me again, unfortunately.
All right, Jones, where were you at with Cinderella?
Yeah, Night Songs came out, and it was a fantastic debut, hair metal debut. It was more the hair metal genre. You know, Tom's voice was gritty, and it, you know, it was a little unique for that time because you always had the higher voices and the things like that. And Night Songs was great. Long Cold Winter came out, and I was really, really looking forward to that. And you guys sort of hit it. There's 5 or 6 songs on Long Cold Winter that are some of the best stuff Cinderella did. There's 4 or 5 on there that's okay, and there's 1 or 2 that's just not good. I agree, Jeremy, with the title track. Yeah. But there is some stuff on there that, Bad Seamstress Blues, and I'm not a big blues guy either, but that was fantastic. And Long Cold Winter, I'm sorry, Heartbreak Station come out, and I was anticipating that one too. And it even took a little bit more of a step back where there's 1 or 2 songs on there that's really, really good. And there's 7 or 8 that ain't too good. And then there's 3 or 4 that's garbage. And so we'll get into Still Climbing next. But yeah, I love the first one. The second one, I thought it's very good. Third one, yeah. And then, but I'm still a Cinderella fan. I still enjoy watching the YouTube concerts, and I've seen them a couple times in concert. But yeah, that's sort of where I was at with Cinderella.
Okay, Patrick, how about you?
One of my youngest memories was my brother and I used to listen to the radio, and a lot. And he was about 3 years older than me, and he would listen to AM radio and like talk radio. I don't know why, but he did. And I remember we were living in Santa Barbara, California. It was probably 1986 or 80, or no, it was 88. And there was a local trivia channel that would come on, and they did trivia on Saturday night, and they played this song in the background. And he was listening to it and was like, oh my God, I have to find out what song that is. It's so great. And the radio guy said, he was doing his trivia thing. And then he said something about, oh, nothing like a little Cinderella on a Saturday night. And he was playing Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone. And that was my first memory of hearing Cinderella and going, wow, that is unique. It's like the most unique vocal I'd ever heard. And so from that point on, I probably got Night Songs in my 8th grade and thought it was awesome. And once I got into high school, I heard Long Cold Winter from my friend, and I was not impressed with Long Cold Winter. I thought this is so bluesy and not my thing. But to kind of piggyback on what Jeremy said, it's like all the people around you are like, oh, Cinderella's great. Cinderella's fantastic. So you're kind of like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But what am I thinking I'm missing something here? Like I'm the problem. Like I'm missing this. And then when I got Columbia House, I got Heartbreak Station. Among the albums that I've given the most tries to, of being like, what am I not hearing? I've got to find it because it's in here. Because they say it's so good. It's their favorite. I've never found more than 1 or 2 songs on that record. I like Sick for the Cure is a good song. And like, I don't know. There's maybe the more things change, but that's about it. I cannot find things to enjoy about that. And I used to have a really awesome CD single for Heartbreak Station. It was in like a little guitar case. It was pretty awesome. But other than that, I was so jazzed though for Still Climbing to come out when it was coming out, because it had also been so long and there'd been such a whole lead up to it. So
all right. I don't remember hearing Night Songs. I mean, I imagine I must have heard shit from it on the radio. But I don't remember thinking of Cinderella. But then again, I don't I think I vaguely remember hearing like Talk Dirty to Me. Maybe this is just my memory. I don't feel like I discovered Poison until Nothing But a Good Time in 88. Well, in 88, I'm probably 15 or 16. So I've told this story before. I'm shooting baskets at my cousin's farm. They have this huge Quonset where they fix their tractors and shit. And there's a radio on, and I hear this guitar riff. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? And go sit by the radio, and I'm like, my cousin shooting around, and I'm like, hold on. I need to listen to this. It's Gypsy Road from Long Cold Winter. And I'm like, I need this. this riff and this voice, this scratchy, everyone, like, I love that, the AC/DC-ish, the grit, the whiskey drenched razor blade smoking vocal cords. So I get Long Cold Winter, and I hear you guys kind of like going, I don't look, there are some down points on Long Cold Winter. I hate the song Long Cold Winter. I'm like, what are you guys doing? But I get, like, you got to give the band a couple songs to do some shit so they can prove how much they love the blues or show how talented they are. And I'm like, whatever. But Gypsy Road, Take Me Back. The first time I heard Bad Seamstress Blues falling apart at the seams after that acoustic intro, and then he goes, let's go, boys. And then, Dan, holy fuck. I love that song. Coming Home. That was so different for that time. You got the acoustic ballads from here, but here's a mid-tempo acoustic kind of story song. I love Coming Home. And then The Last Mile is amazing. And I think Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone is one of the top couple hair metal ballads of all time. Right up there with Every Rose Has Its Thorn, Heaven, I Remember You. I love that song. I remember listening to that and just wanting to bawl and going, that is the most heartbreaking song I've ever heard. I remember playing it for my mom. Going, and here my mom's like probably trying to humor me and going, oh yes, that's nice. But I was like, you need to hear this. This is the most amazing song ever. So I go back and I get Night Songs. Well, nowadays, I would probably say that Night Songs is better than Long Cold Winter because it's basically all straight ahead rock. And I'll just say the song Night Songs, I'm shocked it wasn't a single. That should have been a single in video. That might be my favorite song on the album. Shit, there's times I think Night Songs is my favorite song of Cinderella's. Shake Me was the first single. Holy shit, that thing is catchy as hell. I love that song. Somebody Save Me is amazing. And what the fuck? What's the one I'm missing?
Push, push.
Nobody's Fool.
Nobody's Fool
is amazing, and Nobody's Fool is, wow, that was so original. It was almost kind of like spooky, that and Night Songs. So I was never as jacked for an album as I was, and sorry I'm taking so long, but fuck, as I was for Heartbreak Station. I could not wait. And I'll be honest, when Shelter Me came out, I was like, I think this is pretty fucking good. And I also remember thinking, like, with all the horns and shit, like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, it's pretty good, but so I get it. And I think at first I was such a Cinderella fan that I was like, all right, it's good. So I'll tell you, I do like Shelter Me. I do like The More Things Change. And I do think the title track, Heartbreak Station, is a solid ballad. And then I'll add One for Rock and Roll, I kind of like. It's that kind of acoustic country song. I do like that. But after that, I mean, overall, it's a disappointment. So there's a couple strong moments. So anyway, if Heartbreak Station had done better, I think we'd be talking about Cinderella like we talk about Poison. They kind of followed the same path. They both of those first albums went triple platinum. If they had not fucked around on Heartbreak Station, maybe you're going, yeah, Cinderella's on the stadium tour.
Yeah.
But biffing that last album kind of, and by the way, Tom Kiefer, if you're watching this, I still fucking love you. I want to have you on the channel. I love Cinderella. So don't take it, don't hold any offense if I don't love Heartbreak Station. So with that, I was so jacked, but it takes 4 years for Still Climbing, we were reading in the magazines that Kiefer was having all these vocal problems. So now let's go into this, and I'll go in a different order. Do you remember getting Still Climbing, and what were your initial thoughts? Because then remember, we'll finish up with how it's aged, and we'll just for this one we'll go in reverse order. Patrick, do you remember getting it, and what did you think of it when you got it?
I do. I remember reading about it for a while, and I remember reading about how they had had problems recording it. Obviously Fred Curry wasn't going to be on the record because he was in Arcade, and they had had two different drummers in the studio. They had had a different producer, and they fired the drummer, got a different drummer, got rid of him, got Kenny Arnoff finally to play drums on it. And then they also got rid of the first producer, got a second producer in there. And in that time, Kiefer had reoccurring problems. So, there was a whole lead up to it. And I remember several release dates coming and going, and the album didn't come out. And then finally it was coming out. And I remember going to the store to get it and thinking, wow, the album cover's so different than I expected. And it was in that purple like plastic case too. It wasn't in like a regular case, it was in a purple one.
Yeah.
And the logo was different. And I was pretty jazzed by it. And I remember tearing it open. I brought my Discman in the car. My mom had driven, and I'm sitting with the headphones on, just like Anthony was in the bus with Slave to the Grind, going, oh, this is going to be great. And, the first opening notes of the first jam there, I was like, holy shit. This song fucking rules. And the album, I loved it. I loved everything about that album when it came out. And I remember really just diving deep and listening probably 7 or 8 times that night to it, and just being so immersed in it. And the 2 ballads on that record, I thought rivaled anything on any ballad that they had ever done before. I thought rivaled it. And Sun Shines Through the Rain, and what is the other one called?
Hard to Find the Words.
Yeah, Hard to Find the Words, especially. Holy shit, Hard to Find the Words had such amazing lyrics, and it just pulled at your heartstrings. And Tom Kiefer has always been able to do that.
Yeah.
There were a couple songs that I wasn't too crazy about, and it's kind of funny. They don't do good with title tracks.
Yeah.
And, they didn't on Long Cold Winter. They really didn't on Heartbreak Station. And that followed suit on this. I was never big on the song Still Climbing. I thought, man, this thing just goes nowhere. The other thing that I noticed right away is, even though I loved the album passionately, you could tell that this album had taken a long time to come out, because the songs sounded like they belonged coming out about 2 years earlier.
Right.
Freewheeling, and When It All Comes Down, or All Falls Down, they all sounded like they should have been out in 91, 92. But then again, maybe they would have been if Tom Kiefer didn't have, throat problems. So overall, when I got it, I loved it, and I listened to it a ton, and I tried to push it on everybody I could.
All right. Jones, where do you remember getting it, and what do you think?
Actually, I really don't remember getting it, because they had turned me off so much with Heartbreak Station that, yes, I got it, but nothing ever jumped out. I remember Hot and Bothered just because the video was Wayne's World 2. The first one, was it the first one? Okay. Yeah, I remember that, and I remember when Fred left for Arcade, and I was not really happy about that because I was a big Fred fan. And however, he didn't play on the first 2 records, whether or not he had studio problems or he wasn't good. I don't know the situation there, but he did play on Heartbreak Station. But yeah, when he left, I was like, well, that sucks, because he was one of my favorite drummers. And yeah, I remember Hot and Bothered. And like I said, I remember the two ballads that was really, really good, but I didn't really give it a shot just because I guess of the time. I was going a little more heavier, and I didn't really give it a shot. And I've not listened to this record in a long time.
Okay. Hey, speaking of arcade, there's a record we should cover on some point.
Yeah,
The 1993 arcade debut. I think that would be a solid record to cover.
yeah.
Yep.
Jeremy, do you remember getting it? Or when you got it, what did you think of it?
Yeah, sadly, and I hate to admit this, God, this is almost shameful. I didn't even know it came out. It had about as much publicity as this small little print here, if you could see that. Didn't even get a full page in Metal Edge. I mean, it was just so grossly underappreciated. It came out, I didn't even know it, and I was at the local disc jockey, and I was just rifling through. I think I was actually looking for a Child's Play follow-up, and I saw Cinderella, and I'm like, "What's this? Still Climbing." Pulled it out. I didn't even buy it. And like I said, I'm ashamed of that. But Heartbreak Station was such a letdown. I'm like, I'm sure they're gonna. Every album has gotten bluesier. I'm sure this one's a straight up country blues album. I left it. I didn't pick that up until 95 or 96, and I bought it for $7.99 at the Music Syndicate used. And I'm like, well, I can afford spending $7.99 on it, even if it's only got 3 or 4 good tracks. So I picked it up. I put it in, and my mind was freaking blown. I was like, holy shit. This could have been so seamlessly put after Long Cold Winter. It's unbelievable. In fact, I thought it's, in most cases, superior to Long Cold Winter. And I quickly ranked it my second favorite Cinderella album right then and there. There's not a song on it I skip. And unlike Patrick, I kind of agree that Still Climbing is maybe one of the worst songs on it, but there's not a bad song on it. So if that's the worst of the best, I'm still okay with Still Climbing. But yeah, I was just blown away with how they turned the distortion back up. It was heavy. It was in your face. It was fast. The ballads reminded me of a mix of Coming Home, and the other one, Hard to Find the Words, reminded me a lot of Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone. Then they got that one song. What the heck is it again? I'm sorry. Easy Come, Easy Go, where he kind of gives his life story. He's talking his life story from the time he was a kid growing up, and I really dug that. I'm like, damn, this is his life story, growing up and getting big and being discovered and all that. I thought that was great. So lyrically, I loved it. So 2 years after the fact, I got it, shamefully, and it was my second favorite Cinderella album, and it blew me away. Loved it top to bottom.
Wow, awesome. Okay. Ryan, do you remember getting it? What do you think when you got it?
Yeah, what's funny is the other bands that we've covered, like Motley and Poison and stuff like I at least heard that these albums were coming out at in my teens, early teens. But this one I never heard about at all. Like there was that much lack of publicity, like you guys are saying. So I honestly have zero recollection of this album coming out. I don't even know when I got it. It probably was within 15 years or so. So I'd be kind of making shit up if that was the case. But let me just add some random shit here. Okay, so Anthony, when you were talking about 1990, there's two bands that one I wish had a do-over, and the other one I just wish would have come out with an album. Dokken, 1990, would have been the most magical album of all time. Like Dokken was meant for 1990. And Cinderella, they just squandered Heartbreak Station. And it reminded me that those two bands, had they had it to do over, man, life-changing. Dokken would have been arena headliners, and Cinderella probably would have been talked about on the stadium tour, like you're saying. Yep. And then the other random question was, why didn't they spell their name S-I-N instead of the actual
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. Do you know the story of the name, Ryan?
Isn't it a porn video?
No, this is the story they told in Metal Edge or one of those magazines, that they opened up like a TV guide back when there was TV guides, or OnSat or whatever the magazine was, and they couldn't come up with a band name, and they were drunk in the hotel room. They literally said, whatever we point to, whatever we open up to and point to is going to be the name of the band. And they opened it up, they pointed to it, and wouldn't you know, it was freaking Cinderella, like literally Disney, and they're like, what? And then they were kind of throwing it around. They're like, it kind of works. It kind of works, you know. And they went with the old purple theme, and that's how history was made. It's ridiculous how it was picked, but that's what they did. Yeah.
Wow. Too bad it didn't land on the Flint Bones. Anyway. All right. Shit. It's my turn. Okay. I was still, I was in college. My freshman year of college was the fall of 1991. But I religiously was buying Metal Edge and all those music magazines. Now, I don't know if I didn't know the release date because I don't remember. Like, here's what I remember. I remember walking around Media Play in Fargo because that's where I bought. It was like the big chain store. They had a little bit of everything, and I was like, "What the fuck? The new Cinderella is out?" So I'm like, maybe my memory's failing me. Maybe I did know, but I just remember being surprised as shit. And there's like one copy. And I was probably thinking, wow, they already sold out of all the copies. Like everybody's clamoring for the new Cinderella. Well, where in actuality, the record store probably at that point only bought one copy or maybe two. So I obviously buy it and I go home and I am so fucking jacked because it's nice. And even though I agree, Heartbreak Station's a big letdown, but it's 1994. You're like desperate, I am anyway, for anything to bring you back to the glory days of rock and roll. By 1994, you're probably listening to the Motley Crue 1994 album. You had Arcade in 93. Arcade put out an album in 94, but there's just not, most of your favorite rock bands are done. You're getting occasional good albums. So Cinderella being new, I was still like, well, there was 4 pretty good songs on Heartbreak Station, man. If they give me 4 really good songs on Still Climbing, I'm jacked. So I go home, I listen to the shit out of it, and I loved it. And because it was like, oh, they went back. They realized the mistake they made on Heartbreak Station. Like you said, you were hearing the distortion in the guitars. There wasn't anything overly bluesy. There were some horns on some songs, but it wasn't so overwhelming that you're like, what the fuck is this? So, All Comes Down was great. I thought Bad Attitude Shuffle was a great way to start. I really don't remember having any problems with the album. There were some songs that weren't great, but there wasn't anything that I was like, oh, this sucks. It was all pretty good. And like everybody's acknowledged, those 2 ballads, I mean, Tom Kiefer's voice just portrays pain. So, Through the Rain and Hard to Find the Words were amazing. And like Patrick said, I was always trying to sell this shit. Hey, guys, new Cinderella's out. You should go pick this shit up. It's a return to form. Even if you didn't like Heartbreak Station, give this one a shot. So I loved it. And, unfortunately, that's who would have thought back then that's the last Cinderella album you were ever going to get. It's 31 years later. Tom Kiefer's still putting out stuff. Maybe one day we'll cover that at some point. But loved Still Climbing when it came out. So now we get.
Did anybody see the tour?
Oh, no, go ahead.
Nope.
No, it's funny. It came to Portland, Oregon, and my buddy and I bought tickets for it. And the day before the concert, the club that it was going to be in changed it to 21 and over.
Oh, wow.
And we got screwed out of going. And
Wow.
it's another funny thing about this tour was they toured with a different drummer than what they had on the album. And I have never, ever seen footage of that tour.
Just going to say that. I looked all week Nothing.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can go on setlist.com and see the set list that people say they had. And it sounds like they played Through the Rain. And I think they played Bad Attitude Shuffle, but I don't think they played much else off it.
Dang.
Do you remember, was the drummer, was that or maybe I'm thinking of Extreme, that Mike Mangini?
No, his name was Ray. It was Ray something. And it's not Ray Luzier, but it's somebody else.
Yes, I got you. Yep, you're right. You're right.
He was in a lot of promo photos.
Yeah.
I saw him in 89 or 90 on the David Lee Roth tour. They were obviously opening. Then I saw him, then they reformed in 98. I saw him at a club in Fargo, North Dakota, and they were fucking amazing. But
Yeah.
all right. Okay, I'm sure we've lived with this album we've known about this for the last week. I'm sure we've lived with it. How has it aged? And we're going to start with Jones. Jones, how has it aged for you?
Well, guys, like I said, I've not listened to this in a while. So I dove into it hot and heavy this week, past week. And this album's badass.
Yeah.
This album is bad. For as disappointing as I was, and me and Patrick actually had a side conversation. Cinderella, some of their stuff just not has aged well, and me and Patrick was talking about that earlier. Whoever picked their singles off the first three records knew what they was doing, because all of the singles off the first three records is good tracks. Rest of it is not really aged that well for me. But this one, man, it's rocking. It's really, really rocking. I mean, I loved it. Like I said, Still Climbing might be the only song that's not, it's okay. Hot and Bothered, you can tell that it has a different production, so it was recorded earlier on the soundtrack. But man, The Road's Long, Easy Come, Easy Go, Through the Rain. I love Freewheeling. Kenny Arnoff. I mean, of course, I'm always going to talk about the drums, but Kenny Arnoff's a machine.
Yep.
Now, does he have the feel, the swing like Curry, like Cupcakes got, or, because he's a technically trained machine, and the drums was solid on this. The guitars was solid. Kiefer's voice I thought was solid. I know you guys had mentioned he had troubles and it took forever for Dids to get out. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I've listened to it probably 6 or 7 times looking for things that because me and Patrick had talked, they hadn't aged well. Some of their stuff hadn't aged well, and I was looking to pick something out, but okay, Still Climbing. That's the one that I didn't really care that much for, but 2 thumbs up here.
Okay. All right. Jeremy, how's the age for you?
Damn. Right with you, Jones. It's better now than it was then, and it was phenomenal then for me. It's tied with Night Songs for my absolute favorite. I put this on when we were doing this project, and I played it. And then I went to something else for about 20 minutes, and then I played it again. And then I was driving to my commute the next day, and I played it again. I bet I played this 6-7 times over the last few days. Every time, loving it more. I just cannot believe what you just said is so true. What a badass album it is. It's heavy. It is straight up heavy rock from Cinderella. I don't consider it bluesy at all, hardly. You got your overtones a little bit, but man, it's pretty straightforward, kicking in your balls. And then this is the first Cinderella album, guys, where we get to hear the F-bomb. Not saying that that's something I have to have, but Bad Attitude Shuffle, that was one thing I discovered this week. He actually throws the F-bomb at the end of that twice. And I'm like, wow, look at that. Got a little F-bomb in this. There was some attitude on this one. And then Freewheeling, like you were just saying, that is so fast, so furious, so unbelievably killer. The sound quality of it is great. Kenny's drum playing. I love Fred, and I was really disappointed he wasn't on the album until I heard the album. I love some of the offbeats he plays, and I love some of the cowbell and bass kind of triggers that he's doing. It's just God, it sounds great. The sound of it, the tone, the Tom's voice, everything. There's only one thing about this album that I don't love, and when I say love, I mean this is the most passionate album we've done for me.
Okay.
The only thing I don't love is I wish there was some artwork in this thing. I wish there were some pictures of the band. You know, you open it up and you got the lyrics. I dig that. I always love lyrics. But I would have loved to have seen some pictures of them just because they're such a cool looking band. That's the only thing that I will say I wish they would have done. And had more promotion, but that's on the record company because, boy, nobody knew of it, myself included. But I give it an A++. I think it's right beside Night Songs for me, and I will be jamming this till the end of time. It'll never get old for me.
Wow, awesome. Ryan, how's the age for you?
Why don't you just marry it, Jeremy?
Dude, I would, man. That's how much I love this thing.
Just so you guys know, Jeremy is actually happily married to a female. He's not really going to marry the Still Climbing album.
Get a room, Jeremy.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah, I'll be honest. I ignored this album until this week. I bought it, like I said, years ago, and discounted it due to the fact that Heartbreak Station was such a letdown for me. So every time Still Climbing would come up in conversation on a podcast or a video discussion, I had to kind of sit that one out response-wise because I just never spent time with it. But it's just like how Jones was with Winger's Pull. You know, it was like a pleasant surprise. And I feel like Cinderella were doing everything in their power to do all they could not to make it Heartbreak 2.0. It's like all of their natural instincts were probably to honky-tonk it up. And I'll say this. Like, I like this album. I do. I'm glad I revisited it. It's my number 3 in the catalog in my ranking, and I'm stoked to get it back in my life. And one thing I will say, if Cinderella put a little 86 touch on these songs, good God, it would be so killer, dude. Like, put the 86 touch, remove all the horns, remove all the heartbreak influence, and this album would have been a fucking masterpiece. And like, real quick, Bad Attitude Shuffle. Kind of another shout, watch out, due to the fact that the drum kick in was almost identical to like a lot of the faster like blues songs, like think Jeff Healey or like the Eddie and the Cruisers soundtrack, like that same drum pattern. I was like, oh shit, they're gonna do some heartbreak stuff. All comes down, dude. Horns kill any rock song. Immediate no go. Talk is cheap. Night Songs left over. You know, it's on that YouTube video where they're playing it live in like Tokyo or something like that. It's a good song. I like it on this album because it's harking back to Night Songs. Mm-hmm. But shit, that would have been really killer as an 86 version. But hard to find the words. Cool. Could have done without the female backup vocals. Blood from Stone. Think it would have benefited huge from 80s production. Still Climbing, Freewheeling, and other Night Songs left over, I think. Good song, but I'd assumed it was like a little bit neutered compared to like the 86 version that it could have been. Through the Rain is great. Easy Come, Easy Go. Did we need another Easy Come, Easy Go? You got Tesla. You got Winger. I'm sure I'm forgetting a few other bands, but it's a good song. Road Still Long. Loved it. I would have loved the Road Still Long on Long Cold Winter. It would have been such a killer 88 production if it were just a few years prior. And Hot and Bothered is a fucking 11 out of 10. It's my favorite Cinderella song of all time, and that song gets me every time. I've never turned it off. I crank it.
Nice.
Awesome. Patrick, how's it age for you?
So like I said earlier, I listened to this so much when it came out. You know, I had it the day after release day, and you know, I listened to it for probably all of, you know, the time it was out in 94, most of 95, and then it kind of took a back seat. And it, you know, the ballads would come out all the time, but the rest of the record kind of sat. And in the last few months, when we've been talking about doing this project and you know, banging out these albums, this one has been one that has been talked about. So I had started listening to it a few weeks ago, but this past week, I really listened to it a lot more. And, you know, it is probably my second favorite Cinderella record, whereas it used to be my first. But as everybody has kind of agreed and talked about, it's really hard to beat Night Songs. And like Ryan said, that 86 energy, they were playing for their lives
Yeah.
and they were playing to make it. And in this album, I think they were more playing to survive because, they had been out of the scene for so long. And when this came out, this is another one that has the legendary tale of the record company putting out singles to radio stations that were mystery artists, like other people had, to see if it would hit. And I in the last week or so of listening to it, it's kind of lost some of its luster to me, and I think that's just my age and getting older, and maybe not enjoying certain aspects of what I used to enjoy. I'm with Ryan on this. There's a lot of horns in this record sometimes, and it kind of ruins some of the songs for me. But my God, nothing will ever touch those two ballads. And I dare say that in the top five ballads of the whole genre, Cinderella might own two of them. And definitely, both of these ballads are just so great that they will last the test of time. Bad Attitude Shuffle is such a great shit kicker. Like it still holds all the weight that it had the first time I heard it. And every time, that little old, recordings mono style recording at the beginning comes on, I'm just like, oh shit. Oh shit, here we go. Fucking hold on to something because the fucking quake of Kiefer's voice is coming. And then God, it's so great. But I'd be lying if I didn't say there's a giant lull in the middle of the album for me. And that lull is worse now than it used to be. So, I will always have a soft spot in my heart for this record. It's a good record. And if you haven't heard it, you're doing yourself a disservice to not go out and check it out because it's so worth it. And in the years since this has come out, I've seen Cinderella 4 times, mostly opening for Poison.
Yeah.
And oh my God, if you ever get the chance to see Kiefer on his own, when I saw him at Jones Beach in 2003 opening for Poison, the man played every instrument on the stage. he came out on the guitar, then on one song he played the bass, then he played the drums on a song. It was fucking insane. So he's a masterful musician, a hell of a songwriter. Unfortunately, the Kiefer solo records have never done much for me, but the guy's incredible. This band is incredible, and this album's worth every listen that you can give to it. It just hasn't aged as well for me, but my God, go listen to it because it might for you.
Okay. Can you imagine how scary it was to release this album in 1994?
Oh my God.
I mean, let alone the music scene changing the way it had. Look at the reaction to Heartbreak Station. Listen to us talk about it. So you add like, oh shit, everybody kind of shit on our last record. Now grunge is huge. Like you gotta be like, fuck, do we stand a chance? And they really didn't. So I was just thinking as we were talking, I'm like, and this is gonna sound dumb, Jones. Maybe you can doing this YouTube channel. Every time you put out a video, you're like, okay, how's it gonna do?
Yeah.
So you're like, you can see how bands, and when I put out a YouTube video, it takes me a few hours. Bands work on these albums for months and maybe even years at a time to put it out and go, what does the public think? Anyway, so I've listened to it for the last couple days. And I think I'm somewhere in the middle of Patrick, who is like, hey, it's very solid. It hasn't aged as well as he thought. And between Jones and Jeremy, who fucking love it. So here's where I agree with Ryan. I think if it had that big 80s style production, it would have been badass. So now it is fucking great. It's not as good as Night Songs or Long Cold Winter, because Long Cold Winter, nothing is going to beat Gypsy Road and Bad Seamstress Blues and fucking and Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone and Coming Home, or so it comes in third. So here's where I'm going to break down very quickly each song. Bad Attitude Shuffle is decent. I don't love it now. I think All Comes Down, the horns kind of otherwise it's great. Talk is Cheap is very solid. Hard to find the words. An amazing ballad. I still send the YouTube link to my mom and I go, hey, here's a Mother's Day song for you. It's fucking amazing. I think Blood from a Stone is great. I'm with you guys on Still Climbing. I don't think it's horrible, but I don't think it's great either. It's like, okay. Freewheeling. It is heavy and really up-tempo, but I just think it's a solid rock song. I don't think it's amazing. I think Easy Come, Easy Go is great. I think The Road Still Long is great. And I'm with Ryan. Hot and Bothered is the best rock song on the album. So I think it's a very, very good album. It's my third favorite Cinderella album. I think I was so amped on it in 94 because you're like, fuck, I'm just desperate to return to my favorite 80s rock bands. Now that I listened to it again for the last couple days, I'm like, you know what? This is a really fucking good rock album. Whereas in 1994, I was probably telling everybody this is the greatest thing ever. So I'm probably in the middle of you guys. It is very fucking good. You should go listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
Good one.
So with that, hey, and I don't know if I wish, and it's weird, you know, Tom Kiefer still plays a lot of Cinderella songs. I have Tom Kiefer's solo albums. There's always some good songs on it. I don't know, you know, but there's just something about when it's named Cinderella, it brings you back. So I just wish, I should probably even delete this because I don't want Tom to feel bad if he watches this. But like, I just wish he would go out as Cinderella again. That's just the jealous or the selfish part of me. I would love to see Cinderella one more
There
time.
were some news stories last week. There was two news stories that came out on Blabbermouth that Fred Curry and Eric Brittingham had both been asked whether or not Cinderella could ever play shows again using Sebastian LeBar. And they both seemed optimistic that they would be willing to do it. But that, you know, the excuse that's always given is, well, you know, Tom's worked really hard on his solo career. And so
Anthony.
Yep.
You and I actually talked to LeBar Sebastian in Fargo. We asked him that exact question, Patrick. He said flat out, I'm ready right now. Yep. I'm ready right now. He was like, I'd love to play my dad's music. I would love that honor. He was like, it doesn't seem to be something they want to ask me to do.
But I think Patrick's right. I mean, he's put in a lot of years building up the name, the Kiefer Band, Tom Kiefer, you know, and I'm sure he's just like, look, I've got a certain level of success. If I go back to Cinderella, then I'm gonna have to start all over again as Kiefer Band. So anyway.
Yeah, you know, and Fred is a big time producer, you know, does all of these things for TV shows and movies and things like that. You know, I don't really know what Eric does now, and you know, and Jeff, rest in peace. I always loved Jeff LeBar. I always thought Jeff didn't get the spotlight, you know, because like you said, you know, Kiefer plays everything. You know, he plays rhythm, he plays leads. He might throw Jeff a bone or two on 2 or 3 songs to play the lead, but yeah, I mean, you know, nowadays I don't really see the point. But I'm like you. I would give anything to see Jeff's son come back and they do a Cinderella tour. That'd be fantastic. But you know, what's the point? But I'd still love it.
Jeff did. I mean, and Jeff said, like, Kiefer, he goes, everything I learned about music was from playing with Tom Kiefer.
Yeah.
So, everybody acknowledges that guy can fucking do anything, play anything, and write anything. The guy's a fucking genius. And Jeremy, after that, I did talk to Sebastian Labar. We had an interview set up, and I got fucking sick as shit, so I canceled it. And then we just haven't reconnected. So I need Sebastian, if you watch this, I'm gonna reach back out to you because I would love to hear his story, and I'd love to hear him talk about his dad. So
Yeah, for sure.
all right.
Yeah.
Hey, that brings us to the end of our conversation about Cinderella's 1994 often forgotten album, Still Climbing. We would love it if you went in the comments. And if you have any comments about some of the things that we said, let us know what you think about that album. And if you haven't listened to it for a while, are you going to change your mind? Are you going to check it out after hearing our conversation? With that, it's time to say goodbye to our roundtable members. Ryan from the band Metalcast, RVK, always a pleasure having you on, man.
Thanks, dude. It was great. I got a chance to meet Jeff Labar at Great America. There is a theme park in Santa Clara, California, and Cinderella headlined. And help me remember, it was Firehouse, Quiet Riot with a blonde Kevin Dubrow, Cinderella, and I think there was a fourth band. I don't think it was Poison. I think Cinderella headlined. It might have been Enough's Enough. Do you guys remember that tour?
I think I remember that.
It was great. But Jeff Labar was great. He was just walking through the park, very friendly, good guy, rest in peace. And then I mentioned at the beginning of the show, Metalcast, we're doing the second album, and songs are coming together. We're just missing a lead guitarist. So I said, if lead guitarists are interested in having full artistic freedom on each song, reach out, Instagram, RVK1981, and then La Selva Nights on X. And I'm always tagged in the stuff. So thank you very much. This was great.
Awesome. Jeremy from Abrasion, my brother from North Dakota, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, thank you. In the spirit of Thanksgiving, guys, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for taking the time to do this every week. I love what we're doing for this musical genre. I want to thank the subscribers and the viewers and listeners for giving us an opportunity to talk about this. You saw how excited I got about this album. That's what music does for me. So I apologize if I come off as corny. Thank you guys for letting me be a cornball one night a week. Appreciate you guys.
You're not corny. We fucking love your passion, man. Seriously.
That's right.
Jones from the YouTube channel, Hanging with Drummer Boy Jones, which you should go subscribe to after this video. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, man. It's like you said, it's been a great conversation. Cinderella is an upper tier echelon band of the genre that we love. And, a great band. I love this discussion, and I can't believe that I've passed this album over for a long time. It's been a breath of fresh air. And like all of you guys, I'm thankful for each and every one of you. Thankful for all the subscribers to your channel that watch it and comment. I've been reading all kinds of comments the past week through a lot of the old videos. It's so fun. It's so good to hear everybody's comments, and can't wait to do it again. So thanks a lot for having me on, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
All right. Colonel Patrick, who does so much behind the scenes, truly can never thank him enough. Thanks for coming on, man.
Absolutely. This is always so much fun, and in the spirit of the holidays, I just got to say that you guys all make this all so much fun, and this channel means so much to so many people, whether it's all of us that put our passion into it every week, and it gives so much enjoyment to so many of the viewers of this channel. And look at how it's branching off into Jones's channel that he does with Hawks, and such an amazing community that we've built. And we keep fostering it, and it will just keep growing. So, and I hope you find a great guitar player, RVK.
There you go.
I'm gonna warm up these fingers. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. You won't see this until the day after, but truly I am unbelievably thankful for everybody. It's still in a way even shocking how much this channel has grown, and I love having you guys on. shit. Yeah, I probably talk to you guys more than I talk to anybody else because I'm kind of a loner. I kind of live for music, and the conversations that we have every week are just I look forward to it so much. Thank you to you guys. Thank you to all the fans of the channel who keep coming back and supporting it. It just unbelievable. Hey, if you go in the description, you'll find the link to Hair Metal Mansion. I host it every Saturday from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Time on Rock 101 KLOL. You'll find the link to Hair Metal Guru merch. It'll make that perfect Christmas gift. Get your boyfriend or your girlfriend looking all badass and shit. You'll find the link to FNA Records. They're putting out cool new releases from some of our favorite 80s artists. And hey, like, subscribe, what the hell, ring the bell, and whatever you can do to support the channel. Truly, I really do appreciate you being here. I'm so thankful. Until the next video comes out, my name is Anthony. They call me the Guru. Take care of yourselves. Jeez, I'm good at that.
You're good at that. You've done it a time or two.
Yeah, so you've done it before.
1 hour reading.
It's that English degree from Valley City State University. Not everybody can get in there. You got to color in between the lines and everything if you want to get in there.
Gotta make a lot of rainbows on that trout.
That's right. That's right. All right, here we go.